Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Quigley on Divorce, a behind-the-scenes look. First and foremost, Happy New Year. This is sort of the relaunch of Quigley on Divorce, behind-the-scenes look 2023. So hard to believe we're in the new year, and glad to be with you guys. Glad to sort of be back in the seat of doing some podcasts. This past year, as many of you know or may know, I was president of the Illinois chapter of the American Academy of Matrimonial Lawyers, and that is the largest chapter in the country. It's a national trial organization of divorce lawyers, and so it was a lot of responsibility, a lot of time, a lot of emails, a lot of meetings, but I thoroughly enjoyed my presidency. Really got to know quite a few people across the nation and really expanded the network that way, but it was really good experience to understand the practice of family law, not only here in Illinois and the different parts of Illinois, but also across the country, which has really been enlightening and informing for me. So now that term as president has come to an end, I've got some time. I want to get back in the chair of bringing information to you. And so I've been thinking about this year in particular, 2023, and what I really want to do. In the past, I've done a little more, I want to say maybe a little of the technical aspects of divorce and some of the nuance and some interesting facets. I'm going to continue that to a degree. And also in the past, I've had some interesting guests. I've had some partners of mine, people from my team. I'll do that as well. And as always, if you want to, check out my Instagram page, Quigley on Divorce, and DM me any questions or topics you'd like for me to cover. I'm happy to do that. You guys can always email. You can send me a direct email, which is jmquigley@beermannlaw.com. Anything about the firm address is still the same, www.beermannlaw.com. Remember, 2 E's and 2 N's in Beermann. So one of the changes, though, this year that I'd like to focus on for you, the viewers and listeners, is also something I'm trying to implement more in my own personal life as well as my professional practice, which is more motivational moving forward, taking steps, positive steps. I want to bring that to everyone in terms of on my team, in my office, my own personal efforts, but also to the viewers and listeners, people that are in situations, whether it be thinking about a divorce or in a divorce or coming out of a divorce. What positive steps can you take? What are the actions you can take? And this time of year, it's always interesting because you hear everyone talk about, what is it, the new year begins, and you've got these New Year's resolutions. And, you think, well, what is even a resolution? I'm resolving myself to do something. And invariably, you got the people, I just got a new gym membership, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. And it seems great. You've got an enthusiasm. And then a month into this, 2 months into this, halfway into the year, you're not going to the gym. You're not doing anything. You're not moving yourself forward. And I think we all sort of fall victim to that. And myself not excluded. So I think what the focus is going to be is always with an eye towards, hey, what can you do? And this is something with my clients. Anyone who's worked with me, anyone on my team has heard me say this. And that is, what is it that you can control? What is it that you think? What is it that you say? What is it that you do? You can't control what your spouse says or does, your boss maybe to a degree, even some of the people around you. So what are you doing? What actions are you taking that are best for you? And so in the context of, family law and divorce, a lot of people that I talk to, even just, during the holidays, even people were struggling with their marriages, the relationships that they're in, or maybe they're in a divorce and the case has really, really been dragging on. And my question to them is, well, what can you control? What are the things you can do? And if that means taking the steps to hire an attorney, to move things forward, to engage a mediator, to begin a process of some sort, that is a big step, but it is a step. And once you've taken that step, it's a lot easier to take the next step. And what we find so often is that first step is the hardest step. And it should be the hardest step, by the way. If you're in a situation struggling in a marriage and you're not certain about whether or not you want to move forward, it's the new year, is the time right? Well, again, I always ask people to listen to themselves. And if you hear some of the things that you're saying, you got to ask yourself, are you committed to your marriage? Is your spouse committed to your marriage? I had a gentleman I spoke with, and he was in counseling, but his spouse was having an affair. His spouse was going through the motions, it seemed like, with counseling, but wasn't ending that situation and really diving in and focusing on their marriage. So counseling's not for everybody, but are the two of you working towards some common goal? Are you traveling together? Are you having date night? Are you doing things to try to work on your marriage? And if you're listening to yourself and the answer to each and every one of these questions is no, 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 then you have to ask yourself, what are you doing? Are you just being complacent and saying, okay, that's just the way it is? Or are you taking steps? Are you calling Quigley and saying, here are the circumstances. Can you help me? So I've always said I'm a believer in marriage. I've been married 26 years. And my job isn't to tell people to get divorced. But I think when people listen to themselves, they're probably actually hearing what others have probably said to them or suggested to them, people that are close to them, people that love them, which is, you need to move forward in your life. So that's a first step. And again, the message in 2023 is once you take a step, how do you turn those baby steps into full stride? And now all of a sudden I'm a full sprint and I'm moving ahead, and I'm moving ahead at a really nice clip in a direction that's positive. And that's where I hope the focus is for you. It's going to be the hope, the focus of my practice. There's a lot of these things we think about doing, right? How many of you set goals for yourself? Not a New Year's resolution, but actual goals. How many of you sit down with a piece of paper and say, I've got my personal goals, I've got my professional goals, I've got economic goals, I've got spiritual goals? I'm a big believer in that. When you write something down and you speak it into existence, there's a lot of different cultures and philosophies that talk about that kind of thing and speaking things into existence. Are you saying positive things about yourself? Are you writing positive things about yourself? Or are you second-guessing yourself and you're doubting yourself and you're saying negative things about yourself? When you speak that, there's an energy to that, right? And so you should always be thinking and speaking in the positive. And that's the direction that your life will then follow. So I'm hoping that for all of you struggling in the midst of a tumultuous time, that if there's a way you can will yourself to move in a positive direction, that's really what we're hoping to do. My job as a divorce lawyer is to work with those people who may already be in that situation or thinking about that situation. How can I help you move things forward in a positive direction? And a lot of times, to be honest, divorce lawyers, my experience, aren't always good about telling people the reality of this process. Sometimes it's because they want to get your business. So maybe they're going to tell you a situation that, we can fight for this or we can do that, but they're not really being honest with you because they don't want to give you negative news up front for fear that maybe you'll go hire someone else that tells them what they want to hear. It's not going to help you in the long run. You need to have a clear direction, a clear understanding of what your rights are, what your obligations might be, and it might suck. So I believe my job is to get you to that place of understanding. Here are the facts, here's the law, here's what your life is going to look like as part of a divorce. Okay, now, how can I then guide you through that process in a positive direction? And if that means we work toward a settlement out of court because that's best for you and your family, that's what we do. If I have to go into court and fight and try another case, I've tried many in my 30 years. Got no problem trying cases. I'm competitive, and I'm good at it. But that really should be a last, really a last approach for you, because that's not always moving you in a positive direction. So I think you understand the message. So if you're watching me throughout 2023, and regardless of the topic, I'm going to try to infuse into our discussions this notion of taking control of your life, even where those circumstances are, is maybe you don't feel like you've had control. I've got one client right now who every time we talk to him, he says, but my wife says this, my wife wants that, my wife does this. I don't care. What do you do? What do you want? What do you need? That's what we focus on. And you should always be thinking about taking back the power of your own life. And once you have that power, use that to take you and your children into a positive direction. It's not easy. You likely, if you don't have one right now, will need a good counselor or therapist, because there's a lot of wounds that need to heal. You'll need continued direction. Get a personal trainer. Don't just get the gym membership, actually get a personal trainer, someone that's going to hold you accountable. Build that expectation for you to get out there and do it. Sounds cliche. We got Nike commercials saying just do it. Well, it's a great mantra in really every aspect of your life. So that's 2023 in a nutshell. 2022 was a successful year. I learned a lot. We helped a lot of people. There was many a challenge that we faced, some adversities along the way. And so my life is no different than any of yours, right? We have those challenges, but you have to keep going. The day you absolutely do not feel like getting up, the day that you feel tired, you feel depressed, you feel angry, apathetic, any of those negative energy terms that you feel cannot be what slows you down, right? Just get out of bed. Start there. Get a shower. Get your supplements, get your vitamins, have a smoothie, get an acai bowl, whatever it is you need to get yourself moving. Because then once you're moving, you're at least taking steps. So I'm still a divorce lawyer, and I'm looking to help people in that realm. But I believe that after doing this for 30 years, and in my life, I need a new energy. I need to refocus, recalibrate, and I think all of us do. But let's do it in a real intentional way. So I hope that while this is not real detail-oriented in terms of, what does the law in family law look like in 2023, it hasn't really changed. And we'll continue to talk about topics along the way. And I do encourage you, like I said, to DM me on Instagram or email me directly if there's really things that you're concerned about as somebody thinking about divorce or someone who's in the middle of a divorce. I had a number of people in 2021, a good number of cases where people had other lawyers and it just wasn't moving. And so they changed lawyers and they hired us. And we were able to get people through the process and get them divorced with favorable resolutions. Sometimes it just takes actual lawyers putting in the work. And believe it or not, lawyers get busy. Sometimes you have these small law firms or you have sole practitioners. They just don't have the bandwidth to move things along. And I know this because I came from that. First 10 years of my 30 years, I had my own practice. And I grew to the point where I had, 2 lawyers working for me, 3 lawyers, had staff, paralegals, and it just is overwhelming. That's part of why I moved to Beermann. We are the largest law firm in the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois. We're over 50 lawyers now. Other firms brag about that, but we literally are, when you count the numbers, the largest family law firm. And when I say family law firm, that's just what we do. Okay, we're not personal injury lawyers. We can help you find one. Estate planning lawyers, corporate lawyers. We have good resources available to help you in those matters, but we are a family law firm. And I think we're not only the biggest, but I'd like to believe the best. We do things at a very high level. And I think we can help you out from soup to nuts if you need it. But I also hope that in considering what your needs are legally. You understand my history, my experience. I can help bring that to you. But also what I'm bringing, maybe more so, I don't want to say it's new, but I want to really double my efforts, and I'm really going to try to bring a sense of motivation, tough love sometimes even, to say, let's do better, let's move better, let's act, okay? So as the new year rings in, I hope that above all else, you're healthy, physically, mentally, emotionally. If you're struggling with some form of health or addiction, again, just another area to work at. Takes work. Everything in life that's worth having does. So I'm here along the walk with you, 2023 and beyond. I've told the guys in the office, I said, this is 2023. Being in Chicago, the number 23 has significance, as you all will understand, that it's the year of Jordan. That's what we're saying. So all of the successes Michael Jordan had, how he approached his craft, the work that he put in, the tenacity, the competitive spirit, all of that is what we are bringing in 2023. So we're available. Call us anytime. Reach out to us. We're here to help you. And I really wish everyone blessings and good health in 2023, and we'll look forward to many more podcasts coming your way. So stay tuned. Take care.